Welcome to Sharing My Truth with Mel and Suzie, the uncensored version, where we here with Mel and Suzie, and we're here to give you a cute little friendly reminder to rate this podcast 5 stars, subscribe, and leave us a nice review. Maybe it's a little sexy, maybe it's a little dirty, but not a mean one, okay? Because we love you, and we just want to be loved back. Hi, babes.
Hello, Dan. That was good. I like that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, write a nice review, and it can be sexy, a little naughty, but don't be mean.
That's it. I don't think we've got a mean review yet, but I'm just trying to not put it in there.
Yeah, I think that's good. Well
just trying
said.
to prompt people to be like, hey, these chicks are pretty cool.
These chicks. It's a long time since somebody called me a chick.
Chicks are pretty rad.
Oh, wow.
You know?
Yeah.
Groovy.
Okay. Groovy.
Yeah.
Did you just...
Isn't that what they said in your generation?
Holy fuck. I wasn't born in 1950s.
Oh, fuck me. So what did they say?
Don't know. What did we say?
What did you say? Sick.
No.
That's our generation.
That's modern.
That's modern.
That's actually hard to get your head around. Sick.
Yes,
I don't like it.
It's just like skateboard talk. It's so sick, bro.
Yeah.
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 All right. We have a fun little episode. We have a Would You Rather episode, which is actually kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's been some changes happening with not us. Me and Mel are never gonna change, obviously. We've grown too much.
We're still best buds, and my life is the same.
Her life is the same, but in a good way.
Oh yeah,
course.
in a very good way,
in the best ways.
Yes.
But no, I've had some changes recently in my relationship status, and you know, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you've been listening to this pod for a bit, you know, I've been seeing the same person for a little while, and I didn't know, like, you don't know what you don't know. That sounds so fucking stupid. It's hard to put into words right now exactly how I feel and exactly what actually happened. And I obviously won't talk about what actually happened because that's very personal, and I don't want to bring anything up with him or anything like that. I would never do that, but God, like, it's just like when you break up with someone, like, where does this love you're holding on to go?
Yeah.
And like,
a very good question.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, I know you've been with Max for
ever.
It feels like it. But did you ever have like a breakup of like a year or two before him, or no?
A serious breakup with somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. One boyfriend before him, and I lived with him.
Wow, yeah.
I was quite young, living with a boyfriend, like 19. The first person I lived with, I was 19, which in those days was quite young, right?
Yeah.
But, and like a serious boyfriend. But yeah, I think the thing that's always weird about it is even if you know deep down inside that this isn't right, it's just so odd that you spend a lot of time with somebody and you see them all the time, and I live with them. And then all of a sudden you never see him. And I actually broke up with this guy and I've never seen him ever again.
Yeah.
We sort of broke up and then we got back together again, broke up, and I didn't see him. And I was, I don't know, 23, 20 something. And that's quite strange.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's probably the hardest thing is you're sort of grieving a passage of your life, even though you may know it's right thing to do to move on.
Yeah, and like that's, I think, exactly what I'm dealing with right now. It's like and I have dealt with grief recently in my life with the actual passing of a family member, and that was really tough. And it's crazy how much of the same feelings that come up from this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want to like break my voice right now. But like, you know, it is really crazy. Like I haven't had a huge breakup like this. Like the last guy I dated before my now ex-boyfriend, which is crazy to say. You know, we went out for like 3 months. Like, I've never had a long-term relationship like this, and the fact that I had no idea what to expect when you make a decision like this. And thank God it was very amicable, and he's still a super great guy, and I would never think otherwise. Like, it's crazy.
You're just going in
Crazy.
different directions.
That's all it is. And I
it's
think
not anything.
and I think that's why a lot of relationships fail. Like, I was talking to a friend today, and I had just told him, because he's also friends with my ex now. And I broke the news, and he was like, "It's just so funny because not funny, but like funny because
Funny,
like
weird,
funny,
as opposed to
weird,
funny, haha,
exactly." Because I know 5 other couples who've just broken up,
sort of in their 30s, late 20s.
like same ages, like yeah, just like not married, obviously, just like we're dating for a long or like pretty long time, and just broke up, and like have been going their separate ways, and like it's like, what is in the air right now? And are our listeners feeling this way too? Like, did you guys just have a breakup? Like, what is going on? Is it because Mercury is in retrograde? Like, what is happening?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. I think obviously the age.
Yeah.
You're getting to an age where you're not 22, 20. You're still very young, but you're like, shit, actually, do I want to be in this relationship? I don't dislike this person, but it's not,
it's such a weird
moonbeams and
feeling,
and you sort of think, and I think a lot of people obviously get to a point where you're still very young, like, is this it? Isn't you want something else?
Yeah.
And I think, and you're young, so you should be going off and doing whatever you want to do, and it's not you as individuals, it's just you together for whatever reason. I think there's also another thing, that because of COVID, and I know this is really annoying, I'm going to talk about COVID, but I think especially here in Canada and in Ontario, it took 2 years of people's life away, essentially. And I think that if you're living together, and there's some practicalities, people, you're working long hours, you live together, it's like time passes, and then COVID, people kind of maybe stay together when they shouldn't, because we're exactly where you're going, you're living together.
Yeah.
And you don't dislike each other, so you stay together.
Yeah.
And then it just sort of keeps going. And I think that could be a lot of it.
And that's exactly what I think too. I think it's like, I don't know if we stayed together longer because of COVID, because you know what I mean? Like, I can't say if it's because of that, but there is that part of me where it's like, well, we had all this time together, and we were kind of everything to each other. So either you broke up during COVID because you couldn't stand one another, or you stayed together, you fucking dealt with it, you got a dog, or you had a baby, and now you're like together forever.
Right.
And now I think a lot of our little relationships that are getting out of COVID, yeah, it's 2024, but that's not that far from 2020 if you really think about it.
No.
And like from 2022, when we really just got back to our lives, especially.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, now we're feeling like, oh, fuck, the world is actually a huge place, and I actually haven't done everything I've wanted to do. And is this the person that's going to be able to take me to do all these other things? And like, is he the person or she the person that I actually really want?
Yeah, like mutually, yeah.
Mutually, exactly. It's just like, yeah, it's such a crazy feeling.
But it's obviously difficult when you live together, and you're talking about people, a few of your friends breaking up. You live together, and there are also practicalities, especially in big cities. It's like, oh my God, where am I going to live? It's like, it's a nutty situation.
And I feel so bad for people who don't have like families that they can just move into, right?
Yeah,
like it's
difficult.
like if you're from 2 different places coming into the city, where the fuck are you gonna go? You actually have to plan it out. So you're like, I've already got a place, I've rented a place, I'm gonna move out, blah 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 blah. And thank God, like, our situation's a little bit more stable, but like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, because I have a friend who got out of a relationship like maybe like 6 months ago, and it was not as easy for her. And I really tried to help her, and thank God, it was really easy to figure out at the end of the day. But it is also hard now. And I mean, I know people have babies, that's even harder. But like, if you have dogs and like, because dog still has to be taken care of. You love that dog. It's like it's your
Of
baby.
course, yeah.
And it's still like two parents involved.
Yeah.
And like the dog isn't stupid. It's like, where the fuck is the other person?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they miss them just as much. And it's like, you can't explain something like that to a dog. And it's so sad.
Yeah, it's very sad. I think there's also a thing, and I've talked to you a lot about this, that I think people are sort of jogging along and they're sort of okay. And the thing that I've said to you 1,000 times, people are not unhappy but not happy, and they're sort of okay. And they think to themselves, and I find it a lot, people of your age, like in their late 20s, 30s, quite cynical about love and life, thinking, well, is there actually anything better? Does it get better? Is this it?
No, that's so
And so
true.
they get stuck because they're like, well, maybe this is it. Maybe this is all that's happening. And maybe, people talk about the fireworks at the beginning and then it sort of gets boring and then we sort of sitting at home watching Netflix. And I think people are much more hibernate a lot more than they did in my generation. Like, when I was in my late 20s, everyone was out partying and we didn't have Netflix and staying at home and
Instagram
and all this sort of
dating apps
shit. Yeah. So you actually had to go out to meet people
and to fuck.
So yeah, well, exactly. I mean, you actually had to go out.
Yeah.
So otherwise you were staring literally at the ceiling. And so maybe that's a whole thing too. But I think people are very cynical. Young people. That sounds very patronizing, but I think they are. They just think, well, this is it. This is as good as it's going to get. And if I say no to this, then it could be even worse. And then you look at dating apps and stuff, and it's like, holy shit, is that what's on offer? Oh my
God.
So, not that I'm looking at dating apps personally, but you know.
Sure.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I mean, I'm sorry, but
get your profile just to see what's going on out there.
I feel for people.
Yeah, I'm definitely not excited for the apps to go on because obviously I'm going to go on them. It's just, I think it's just getting over that hump of, because I know I'm going to be okay. And this was obviously like amicable, like I said, but it was my decision to bring it up. And I feel really good about that decision. And I feel proud of myself for even doing it because it's not easy, especially when you have all these things tied in together, especially like with friend groups and like, we care about the same people, we care about the same things, and like,
and you like the person.
God, I love him so much. I still love him. Just like the in love part, the passion part. And I think, like you're saying, once you get a little bit older, not that I'm old, but like late 20s, early 30s, you're in this relationship for this much time and you're like, is this and it's like, well, it could be, but it doesn't have to be.
100%.
And it's like I had to make that decision for myself to being like, this isn't enough for me. And it wasn't enough for him, obviously, too. Like we both wanted more, and just it's just you have to just make sure that you know that you're going to be okay, and it's going to take a little while. And that's where I'm at right now with this. It's like I know I'm going to be fine. I know how to fuck. I'm going to be fine. There's going to be a lot of guys out there and girls who are going to want this, and that's going to help my ego. And then I can work on actually getting into another relationship. But I'm ready for a hot girl Suzie summer at this point.
A hot girl Suzie summer.
Yeah.
Wow. That could be like a whole new TikTok
Should we get t-shirts
trend.
made?
Actually, we should. I feel actually that would be good.
I need a hot girl Suzie summer. So
and that's like hot girl walks and all this sort of stuff.
And I'm ready for those. Yeah. So that's how I'm feeling. But Mel has been so nice.
Aww.
And appreciate you.
Thank you.
We're breathing through it. Deep breaths, Mel. I know it's your favorite thing.
You're doing very well. Yeah, I like breathing.
Okay, now can we get to the fun stuff? Because
yes.
I had to get that off my chest to our favorite listeners, but because it's a big thing that's going on in my life, and I want to make sure I share my truth with you guys. But let's get to the fun stuff. We're gonna play a Would You Rather. I think this is one of our first Would You Rathers in our
it is
little podcast episode season gang.
Yeah.
And it's a Would You Rather, and we want you guys to play along. We'll do something on Instagram when this comes out. And so here we go. The scenario.
Right. Yeah.
Would you rather be a 50-year-old woman? You're hot. You're not like, like you're good looking, nothing wrong with you. You have your shit together. You have money. You got a great job.
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have a boyfriend, you don't have a husband, you don't have kids, you don't have any of that kind of closeness around you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or would you rather be a younger mom, maybe like 35,
Right.
okay? 2 kids, husband's wealthy, you're living very comfortably, but you hate him.
Wow.
You love your kids, but you hate him, but you're living this life that you kind of asked for. But you're also, or you could be a 50-year-old woman who's hot, got it all in her own right, kind of Samantha Jonesy, but also kind of wants that, like feels a little lonelier, right?
Right.
So Mel, which would you rather? And I feel like I actually don't know this answer. I was like, I feel like I know, but I don't.
I think I'd prefer to be the 35-year-old.
With the 2 kids, but the shitty husband?
You can always get rid of him, can't you?
Well, maybe you can't though, because you don't have a job. Like, let's say he makes all the money.
Alimony. It'd be
I love
fine.
alimony.
Or go and
Thank
get a job.
God.
Go and
2
get a
young
job.
kids.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying, but you have your whole life ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is absolutely nothing wrong with being 50, or in my case 51, and got your shit together and not had children and whatever. But there is a big difference if you're 50, and I do have friends who are 50 with no kids and older.
And no husband or just no kids?
Like maybe no husband, but they chose not to have children and they're very happy. But that's a whole different thing than if you're 50 and you wanted to have children. The partner's something else, but if you wanted to have, let's call it a family unit, and it never happened for whatever reason, that's really, really hard. Really hard.
Yeah.
But if you're 50 and you've done everything and you're really happy and I think it's called, no, I was thinking of something else. If you're single and you're happy and you've got a great job and you've got lots of financial security and you never wanted kids and you just don't have a partner, yeah, that is hard because that is lonely. Because the reality is, I mean, you even feel it at your age that, Sunday everyone's doing things with a partner or something. The older you get, the harder that gets, and you do get lonelier. And I think I'm never ever lonely. I never get the chance to be lonely. And if sometimes I'm at home, like my husband Max travels quite a lot, it's really nice.
Yeah.
I just, sit by the telly, glass of wine, something to eat.
Watch what you want to watch.
I watch the show anyway, but it's like quiet. Nobody's bothering me. It's very nice. But I'm good after a day, Yeah. So I do understand that can get very lonely. But when you're 50, you're not going to suddenly have children.
Well, yeah. Okay, so here's my take on it.
Although, sorry.
Oh, no, please go ahead.
What's her name? The actress, famous blonde actress who's just had the baby at 51. Oh my God, Cameron Diaz.
Oh, yeah.
She said, she didn't.
She didn't have the baby.
Didn't physically have the baby. She got somebody else to have the baby.
She was a husband.
That's true, she does. But what I'm saying is you could have a baby at 51.
If you have a surrogate.
Yeah. Well, why would you want to have it physically?
Ew, disgusting. Why would you want to do that?
Exactly.
Okay, so obviously I think we know my answer. I would rather be the 50-year-old single woman with no...
The Kim Cattrall, the
I would love...
Samantha.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's not even a question about it. Because I think being in that bad relationship with 2 kids, that is just something I would never, ever want to put myself through. And, like, let's not even talk about the kids. You know what I mean? Because obviously, like, that's horrible for children to have to deal with that kind of thing.
It is, yeah.
But, like, let's just talk about you as the woman, as the person in this relationship, to have to get out of that. And I'm just putting my mind into that. Oh, my God. Like, I'd way rather be that, like, kind of hot. Maybe you're not getting obviously as much attention as you did when you were 35, let's say, or 25. But you're a hot little 50-year-old, haven't had kids. Your body's still pretty good. Maybe you have money. You have a good job. You're traveling. You're able to see things.
You're independent.
And yeah, maybe you kind of feel lonely sometimes. It's definitely about it's about the person. Like I love being alone. Like you're also saying. Like,
yeah, I don't mind being alone. And not for long periods, but I'm perfectly fine. I wouldn't say I'm good for long periods of time on my own.
Yeah, like I
wanna
love
be,
my friends. Like I need to be around people. I'm definitely not like a loner, but
I
there's
couldn't spend a week on my own. On my own.
on your own. Yes, you could, Mel.
Well, I could. Yeah, of course I have. But I mean, like not. What I mean on my
You
own
would
is like
like to.
not going out in the evening, not seeing people,
Yeah, it wouldn't be as
just
fun.
like
That's
being
for
at
sure.
home. Sorry, it was a funny noise. Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one. I mean, because you'd think if she's 35, she does have time, lots of time to change the course and path of her life.
It's
The
hard when
question is,
yeah.
it is hugely difficult if you're married.
Well,
And if
yeah.
if you're not working because you've got young children and you've made that decision, and then you've made that decision, and I know there are lots of women in this position and also in the other position, and they don't like it. And it's very, very difficult. But I think at 35, you have the opportunity to change it.
Yeah. You're right. At 50, you don't have a huge. The only thing you could change is your partner situation, right? Where it's like,
Sure.
you obviously could get a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whoever.
100%.
And
A
like
toy
have
boy.
a toy boy, which we love.
100%.
You could get a great little dog.
Have a
Excuse
dog,
me.
yes.
And then they're way better than kids. Like, let's just be honest. You know, and you can take that thing on the plane and you can travel with that and it'd be so great and cute.
Yeah, if you don't
Who
want
needs
children,
kids anymore?
if you don't want children,
Yeah.
then of course it's a no-brainer. You'd be fine.
You think
But
the
if
people who
you-
want children literally don't give it up
No,
ever. It's incredible.
it's like a thumping, like almost like a pain. If you,
in your uterus.
yeah, in your body, your soul, I think your mind, I think everything. If you can't have children, it's agony, and you want them, it's agony.
Wow.
And I think I thought about it because I'm somebody, I literally got pregnant the minute I decided. I'm one of those
It's so funny. That's
hormonal
what my
people.
mom says too.
Yeah.
She's
We made the decision.
oh my God, that's
I came
so
off the
funny.
pill. I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And for me, it was so like, we made a decision. Max and I were on vacation. We were actually very romantic in a swimming pool. We were having a conversation about family. No, there were people around, Susie. It's illegal. And we decided.
Maybe it was private. I don't know.
Yes, no, I don't go to those kind of swimming pools.
All right.
And we decided, yes, it's time to start a family. We're married. And we both wanted
Got it.
children. And I literally got pregnant both times. It's amazing I don't have 100 children because I don't know how I haven't managed
Birth control. Thank God. Thank
I
God
know,
for birth
but
control.
you know, I mean, you can have accidents and things. But if you want children and you can't have them, and I have friends who've gone through IVF, it's horrible. It's really hard. It's hard emotionally. It's hard physically.
Mhm.
It's really difficult. And then if it fails, oh my God, I mean, just agony. And and it is a need in a woman, like, but I do think the flip side, and now I'm talking about children, we weren't really, the idea was
No,
not
that's
really to
fine.
talk about children. But I think the other thing is, and I've had a few conversations with women, younger women, like in their 30s recently about this, sort of mid to late 30s, sorry, that they've desired these children so much, they want to have children so much, and they have the children, and then they feel guilty about the fact they're like, oh, this isn't all it's cracked up to be or what we're feeling.
Mhm.
And that is something that we are talking a lot more about in the media.
Mhm.
I'd say that was not my case. I am somebody who came from a really, really unhappy home, but I came for whatever reason very naturally to motherhood. It just came to me very naturally. I don't know why, everything just felt natural and easy and something I always wanted. But I do understand that if I feel like that, then somebody's got to have the opposite feeling. And that there are women having children and they want them and then they have them. It's not the child so much. It's just kind of the life and everything around it can be difficult. But I think if you want children and you can't have them, that's fucking hard. And you carry that with you.
Yeah.
Carry
No,
it
I
with
don't
you.
disagree with that. I think a lot of women, I mean, I don't know many 50-year-olds.
Just me.
It's just you, babes.
And I'm 51, so technically.
You and my sister, would be best friends.
There you go.
Yeah. But, you know, I think, and I'm feeling it, even though I'm not the person who's like, I really want fucking kids. Like, I need them. Like, I understand that need, but I don't have that.
Mhm.
I could have them, and I know I would be a good mother because I do have those maternal instincts, but I don't need them like some women I know need them, right? And there is just that like thing where, you know, women like me who don't exactly need kids still feel it's that peer pressure that hits us, and they're like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind a little mini me running the fuck around, but I think that's just biological, right? Like, I don't know if it's even like, yeah, I want this. It's like, no, it's just literally like biology. And that's just how this is gonna work. And I don't actually want this for me, but that's nice for you. But I'm also a little sad because I'm a little lonely, but I don't hate myself for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do 100%. But I think there are actually different categories because I've known friends in different sort of points of this. I think you are still very young. You're 28, and you could actually change your mind. I'm thinking a couple of my friends who were like, yeah, no, I don't want children. And then they met the man sort of mid to late 30s, and they're like, oh my God. And it suddenly was like, I want to have a kid. And it, you know, and something happens for whatever myriad of reasons, you know, probably much related to the person you've met and all that sort of stuff. And they've gone on to be really amazing mothers. And then I know friends like me who've always known they wanted children. I have friends who still don't have children who always knew they didn't want to have children. I mean, literally at 18, 19, they knew they didn't want children. And then I have friends I'd say who were on the fence about it. That maybe they thought they'd be more maternal than they actually are.
Yeah.
Because it's instinctive. And I think as women, we're made to feel really fucking guilty about it.
Yeah, what the fuck is with that, hey?
Yeah, because you're meant to be a woman, you're meant to be a woman. You are a woman, therefore you're nurturing, and therefore you immediately know what to do. And, you know, just let me get this out there.
Please.
But you have a baby. There is nothing in the process of having the baby, however you have the baby, and then breastfeeding and all the shit that happens, that you know what you're doing. It is unbelievable. It's nothing like anything anybody can tell you. And it keeps going.
If that doesn't make you want to have children, I don't know what will.
It keeps going, exactly. But yeah, so going back to this, would you rather, what would you prefer?
You still would rather be the woman unhappy in her marriage with two kids.
Obviously I don't want to be unhappy, but
unhappy in her marriage. Maybe she's not unhappy, but
maybe she's unhappy
she's
now.
Kind of probably taking an existential crisis of what the fuck is going on and like how does she get out of it? Where the 50-year-old is like,
she's free.
She's free in a sense, right? Where it's like,
well, she's free. She's financially free. She can do what she likes. That is a big difference. If you are
lonely, and loneliness
is a huge thing. Oh my gosh, loneliness is horrendous because especially when you get to a certain age, and obviously the older you get, the worse it gets. And if you don't have children, of course, there's a whole part of your life you don't have children and grandchildren. So there's that sort of whole family, thing with, you have the holidays, whatever, religion you follow, you always have sort of gatherings. If you're alone, then there's an element of that fills up your life that's not there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I do think there's a lot of things like Sunday, you might go for brunch with your partner or go and see your kids, or you do these kind of things. And if you're alone, and you could have tons and tons of friends, but if they're married and they've got children and grandchildren or whatever, there's a whole part of their life that's very full, and you can only have a little bit of them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I can see this now. Like, I have 2 children. I'm very involved in their life. They're very involved in my life. They call me all the time. And even one is at university, but it's a big part of my life. And I will always want to have time and whatever. So any of my friends that are single, they don't have that whole thing occupying their time.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot of time to think about what is wrong maybe in the situation. Like, there's just a lot of time to think about you.
Yeah. That's a very good way of putting it, because I think the first time I went on a work trip after my kids were a little bit older, I mean, I'd gone on my own and sort of left them, obviously not on their own.
On their own, yeah.
Left them with their father.
3 and 5, bye.
And, even though I was working, it was like, wow, I can have a bath and have it, you know, like, and I remember one day I was going somewhere and I had all these back-to-back meetings, but I got up, had like a bath, shower, whatever. But it was just, I had a cup of tea. It was all so like, la, 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 la. And I was like, my God, I had so much
This is
time.
nice.
But I had so much time.
Yeah.
And then I kind of had to, then you have to fill your time because there's nobody at home. So like I was going out and seeing people. And then I think one night I didn't go out. I was tired and I just came home. And then you realize you actually have to make a lot of effort because you have to see people all the time, right? I do actually go out quite a lot. But you don't have to if you have family, right? They're there. But then going back to this woman, she's unhappy and that's awful. If she's committed her life to raising her children, you know, particularly while they're young, and maybe she changes her mind and she's unhappy with this man, I mean, that is, yeah, it's awful.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously these situations are faux, but I think they are realities for a lot, you know, like it's, I don't know, like.
Do you know what
tough.
I think the answer is?
What is the answer?
Is that one should always think about all the great things in your own life. It's a lesson to stop always looking at what other people are doing. So, you know, when you have so many things in your life and you're going, oh, but I wish I had a bigger house or a bigger car or more money or whatever the fuck it is. Maybe take a look at what you've got.
That's really, honestly, like I do agree with that in the core of what that is. But that would have kept me in the relationship that I just ended.
I see what you mean.
But because that was my mindset for so long of being like, why can't I just be happy with what I have?
Right.
Because it was so good.
No, that's a good point.
But because that is the mindset that I try to keep. I'm just like, I am happy. Like, this is good. My life is really good. And it is. Like, I have a lot of amazing things in my life. Like, I'm definitely not complaining because I know that, like, I'm super lucky. But yeah, you can't just like be complacent in things where it's like the girl, let's talk about those things, like the woman who has the bad husband. Like, should she be like, well, I got these 2 amazing kids, so I'm going to stay with my husband, you know? Or is it like the 50-year-old, well, it's like, oh, I have all this money, so should I just, you know, go travel and kind of see the world, but I'm lonely. So, do you know what I mean? It's like,
I do.
It's sad. It's sad, but it's also like, that's the life of being a woman.
Yeah. No, I think, there's some very hard choices to make as a woman.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we have windows that men don't.
Yeah. Isn't that annoying?
Because, you know, Robert De Niro. He's like
popping out people
80,
80.
Yeah, he's what, 80 something?
Yeah,
I think he's 82.
Like, oh my God.
And he's got a baby. I mean, Alec Baldwin's got like 1,000 children. He's got 7 children.
Robert De Niro and what's his face?
Oh, Al Pacino.
Al Pacino, thank you.
Yeah. You see? I mean, although, oh my God, you know, not to judge, it really isn't terribly sensible. They're not going to be around for very long.
No, of course not. They know that. They don't give a shit.
Well, no, I mean, they've got
these women
so
want
money.
their babies.
Exactly. I mean, fair
like,
enough.
Come on.
Fair dues.
We're not. Who are we to judge?
Fair dues. But like, the point is women can't do that.
No, of course not.
You can't. I mean, I know we just said Cameron Diaz has just had a baby at 51. By surrogate. B, she has a husband. C, she has tons of cash.
Cash money.
And
makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, I mean, God, how much does a surrogate cost?
A lot.
Must cost.
Obviously not paying for the baby, but you're paying for the person who's carrying the baby, as in like you're paying for her typically, right? Like you're paying for her living, you're paying for her food, you're making sure that because she's carrying the thing that you're gonna have after she's done with it.
And I assume,
you know,
like the whole process, like
paying for a really big
impregnating
shit, like,
with
you want that to be organic.
That's a good point. Did you say the word dick?
What? Shit.
Oh, I thought sorry. We're talking about babies and she's brought... No, but Cameron Diaz, this is totally off track, but this has made me think, so I didn't think about this. She's 51. Generally, your eggs... Oh, no, she could have harvested them before. Because she's a smarty. Right. She's a thinker. So that is actually... I did know somebody did this like years ago when I was young, but that is a good thing to do.
A lot of
Freeze your
girls
eggs.
I know have done it.
They're really smart. do it.
I don't want to do it. Not at this point. If I turn 30 and I
not
don't have a
now.
partner,
I mean,
I
you're
will
not-
do it.
Yeah, but I actually think that's very smart. It really is, because you do run out of time and you think that 35, 36, and it is young, but actually, unfortunately, it starts to get harder at the sort of 35, 36,
Yeah.
which is crazy because most women today, that's when they want to have children.
Yeah.
That's when you're ready, 35, 36, 37. I had my second at 35, and even then they were saying you were old. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about?
You.
And all my friends are older than me when they had babies. But yeah, freeze your eggs.
Freeze your eggs.
That's a good
Unless
piece
you're in
of-
Alabama or something.
Oh, can you not do it then?
I don't know. There's something fucked up going on over there right now. Anyways,
Freeze your eggs.
if you're in Alabama, come to Canada. We'll take care of you, babes. Okay.
Wow.
Love you guys. But let us know what you guys thought. Let me know if you just had a breakup so we can talk about it.
Yes.
It's good to talk about these things, even though it's hard. I find talking about my personal feelings, getting vulnerable, very difficult. It's something I'm going to work on this year. But let us know what you guys would you rathered.
Yeah.
Okay, because we want to know.
A or B?
A or B.
Go through door A or go through door B?
Take the red pill or the blue pill.
Very good.
Thank you. Okay, ta-ta.
Ta-ra.
Sharing My Truth Pod is so excited to partner with Vibrator.com, where the A in vibrator is the number 8. This is an extremely exclusive code where no other podcast has it. If you go to Vibrator.com right now, use the code MS15, that's MS15 at Vibrator.com. You can now get 15% off anything in store. That's any sex toys for you, your partner, your neighbor, your mom. We don't judge. We don't care. Get it now. Go to the link in our bio, put in the code, and get jiggy with it.
Thanks so much for listening. Please rate and review this podcast and follow us on social at Sharing My Truth Pod. And leave us a